Morning, everybody. Is anybody here? How is everybody today? Yeah, it's so nice to be here with all of you. For those of you who don't know us, my name is Gangamata, and this is my husband, Diva, and it's truly our joy to be here. Today is the last day of June, isn't it? July, they don't kid around here when they say summer comes, 4th of July, do they? So I'm going to need my glasses. I'm going to begin with a reading from Whispers from Eternity. This is Yogananda's prayer book. This is his book of prayer demands and poems. And this is number 179. Teach me to drown in thy light and live. I come to thee with the song of my smiles. Whatever treasures have lain in the secrecy of my soul, I bring eagerly to thee. I bring thee all the honey from the hive of my heart. All that was ever mine is now thine alone. The sunlight of this world shining upon my eager hopes and brief, fickle fulfillments burn me repeatedly with dissatisfaction. Now I will quench my thirst forever in thy radiant waters. The taper of my aspiration toward happiness will burst aflame with thy coming into a conflagration of bliss. In thy vast, enchanting sea of light, I will swim joyfully forever. Teach me to drown in thee and live, rather than live in a mirage paradise of earthliness and die. So, this reading this morning from Whispers and our affirmation this morning reminds me of the story of a man. He was a middle-aged man, and he had had a very successful life, successful career, and he was looking for something deeper. And he decides, I think I'm just going to go join a monastery. And so he goes and talks to the superior there, and the superior says, well, it's going to be very difficult for you to come here, but you're welcome to come, of course. You're going to have to give up all your possessions. There's going to be a lot of prayer, and there's silence here all the time, 24 hours a day. And you're not allowed to speak. You can, every 5 years, you can say 2 words. And so the man agrees because he really was feeling this deep inner yearning. So he joins the monastery, and 5 years passes, and the Pope comes and he calls him over, and they have a little meeting, and he says, how is it going? And the 2 words that this man picks is bed hard. And the Pope says, oh, I'm so sorry. You should be comfortable. We'll take care of that. We'll get you a new bed. Well, another 5 years passes, and the Pope comes again, and he calls him over, and he says, okay, how is it going? And the man says, food cold. And so the Pope says, oh my, we need to take care of that. The food needs to be warm. We'll take care of that. And then in 5 years, the Pope did not come this time, so the superior called this gentleman in, and he asked him, okay, how's it going? And the 2 words that the man says is, I quit. And the superior says, well, no wonder, it's no surprise. All you've done is complain for the past 15 years. Our reading this morning is a beautiful reminder of that light. And of course, what a wonderful affirmation we have connected with that, which is non-attachment. Not that it's the remembrance, the realization that these things of the world, they're not bad things. They're not bad things to have. But if we place everything in these things of the world, that's what we'll have. We want to go beyond that. I was thinking how many of you know I got a new computer for my 50th birthday, and then I got a new cell phone. So I'm up to speed now, as one would say, in the age of technology. And the other night I learned how to download pictures from my cell phone onto Facebook. So those of you who are friends of mine, you've probably seen lots of photos. But before I realized it, I had spent the whole night on Facebook. And I was thinking, oh my, this is a whole night that I spent, 2-3 hours. And plus, I'm a little bit slow now. It took me an hour to do a picture. But I'm like, oh my gosh, a whole night was wasted. How many lifetimes have I wasted? Have I let go through Facebook? Or, which, But it's that beautiful, it's that reminder, the reminder of the redeeming light, the reminder, non-attachment. Let's not get attached to the things of the world. But how do we hold on to that light? We need to focus on the light, don't we? I was remembering years ago when my brother was a budding scientist and he got a telescope. And one of our most favorite things to do was to look through that telescope. Here we were in New York City. You know, what could you see from New York City? But we had a pretty good telescope, and we would try and look for all the planets. And one of our favorite things was to look for Saturn and all of its rings. You know, that was so cool. As long as we kept the focus on Saturn and the rings, right, it was clear. As soon as we moved the focus off, right, we lost that clarity. Same thing when we're looking for the light, when we're trying to feel for the light, we need to keep our focus on the light. Well, how do we do that? Right? Looking, who has the light? First, we can think about who shares the light so beautifully. Our masters. We have pictures on the altar. If we look at any of them, we can see the light in their eyes, right? We don't see Facebook in their eyes or any of these attachments or any of these things that maybe hold us back, but we see a light. When we look at this beautiful picture, this is one of my favorite pictures of Nayaswami Kriyananda. He is, for anyone that's new, he's the founder of Ananda. He was a direct disciple of Yogananda. He passed away a little bit over 2 months ago. And you would think, well, founder of Ananda, spent time with Yogananda, he wouldn't have had any challenges. Life would have been easy. But those that know his life, he had lots of struggles on a physical plane, betrayal, lots of things happened in his life. But you never saw that, right? For those of you who remember him, he always focused on the light. He was determined. He was concentrated. I remember years ago, I know he was going through a very difficult test. And down at the Expanding Light, which is at Ananda Village, I saw him there energizing. We do the energization exercises. It's one of our practices here. And I saw him energized with such focus, such determination. Beautiful reminder that we need to keep focusing. Focus on the light. Focus on the light. Be determined. Our reading gives us the clue. What are one of the ways? It talks about meditation. Seems like we talk about meditation every week. But meditation really is that formal practice of the light. It's in that practice of meditation, right, where we're reminded of that light. We let go of those attachments, those identifications, those thoughts. At least we try. I know it's a struggle, but we try. We offer ourselves up in meditation. There was a wonderful quote that I found on Facebook about meditation that I did want to share. Oh, it says, meditation, maybe some of you saw it. It was kind of big. Meditation : because some questions can't be answered by Google. Beautiful reminder. Again, what happens? We let go of, in meditation, we let go of those things again around us. We find a place. What do we find in meditation? All those qualities of spirit. If we focus, if we're concentrated, if we keep working at it. We can't just sit and expect, okay, I sat here for 2 minutes. Where's the light? Where are all those feelings of peace and love and joy that people talk about? We need to keep focusing. We need to keep practicing. But it's hard to do it on our own, isn't it? So what do? We come in environments, right, where satsang, it's called, where we can be supported in that practice of meditation. So important. What did Shakespeare say? The appetite grows by what it feeds upon, right? If we want to eat ice cream, we go to an ice cream parlor. Every time you walk in an ice cream parlor, you think of ice cream, right? But every time you go to your meditation room, you know, if we develop that practice, that focus, that concentration, we'll want to meditate. We come here at 9 o'clock, we have a beautiful purification and fire ceremony. We come, and that's basically a meditative service, isn't it? For those of you that come, that's what we're doing. We're offering up every week symbolically and deep within ourselves everything that's holding us up. We burn it in the fire. It's such a beautiful ceremony that we do. And then we meditate. We take it deep inside. We have the other things like study. You know, we want to study the lives of the masters. Who lives in this light but these masters that have gone before us, reading their words. Their words are golden. What they tell us to do, they're infused with that light. Yogananda would say environment is stronger than willpower. Again, remembering all these words, all these lines. Somebody once told me that they were reading the autobiography of a yogi, and they had the book for years. And I said, well, how many times have you read it? And they said, I'm still just in the first third of the book, because they were taking the book and they were taking each line, each word with so much depth, so much, so much concentration again and focus. We can't just go, oh, there's the AY, okay. We need to really, it's to give it all again, our focus, our attention. Support, it's very important too. We come together, here we are, this places like this where we can come together, be together, come because people support this. When we offer our energy, whether serving, there's so many hands here that make a miracle on Sundays. It's incredible. Many, from the beautiful altar to the music we hear every week to just making this happen. There's a lot. And then also on a financial basis, everything adds to that light, because the more we can support that light, the more it grows, and the more we can infuse the rest of the world with that, the more it grows. I liked friends of ours up in Seattle said another way to keep remembering the light is to smile. And Yogananda would say, if you don't feel like smiling, get up in front of the mirror and just push your mouth up and then see how you feel afterwards. How do you feel when you do that? Do you feel lighter? Some of you look lighter, not so serious. I was remembering years ago, and you probably remember, there was a time when a lot of these near-death experience books were popular, Embraced by the Light, Saved by the Light. There's one that came out recently called Proof of Heaven. And it's written by a neurosurgeon who did not believe in the near-death experiences. But he had one himself. He ended up catching something that was very, very rare illness. He ended up being in a coma for 7 days, I believe. And he had an experience when he was in his coma. He had an opportunity to connect with the divine, and he got a beautiful message from it. Because when we live in that light, what are we reminded of? Reminded of divine love. We're loved. It comes down to love. Yogananda would say, when I am gone, only love can take my place. Again, none of these things of the world, which they're not bad things. I don't want to, Facebook is a wonderful tool for marketing, for communicating, for staying connected. But if we stop there, if we stop with just our clothing or our car or our home, right? Just those things always change, nothing lasts. Relationships change. We have a dear friend that's passing now. Nothing stays the same. But what stays constant? That love, that light, that eternal joy, all those qualities of spirit that we can contact in meditation, those qualities of spirit that are there for us through our practice. Well, I want to read a few words. These are beautiful words, I thought, that I wanted to share because he connects with the divine. And he's given this message, and he says, it came in 3 parts. And to take one shot at putting it into words is difficult, because he says this was delivered wordlessly to him. But he said it would run something like this. He wrote, you are loved and cherished. You have nothing to fear. There is nothing you can do wrong. And then he writes, if I had to boil this entire message down to one sentence, it would run this way. You are loved. And if I had to boil it down further to just one word, it would be simply love. Love is, without a doubt, the basis of everything. Not some abstract, hard-to-fathom kind of love, but the day-to-day kind that everyone knows. The kind of love we feel when we look at our spouse and our children, or even our animals. In its purest and most powerful form, this love is not jealous or selfish, but unconditional. This is the reality of realities. And then he writes, because often, I thought this really so much resembled our path. Often we talk about meditation and service. We've been talking a lot about service these last couple of weeks. Again, through the practice of meditation, we contact the divine, and then we can share it through our service. And he's vowed to do this. Through this experience, he wrote, "The unconditional love and acceptance that I experienced on my journey is the single most important discovery I have ever made or will ever make. And as hard as I know it's going to be to unpack the other lessons I learned while there, I also know in my heart that sharing this very basic message, one so simple that most children readily accept it, is the most important task I have." And so now here he is. He's now an ambassador. This is called Proof of Heaven. It's a beautiful book, beautiful book. And now he's vowed to share that message of love to everybody. And that's what our masters came to remind us, really, of just that message of love. How do we do it? We do it by focusing on the light, loving God, serving through our meditation. Remember God, love, serve, remember, love, serve, remember. You know, it seems like a very basic formula, but so powerful. The message of love, looking in the eyes of those that have gone before us, that lived in that light, no matter what was going on. It can give us hope that we too can do that, because they've come back. Yogananda has promised us, "I will keep coming back till not one stray brother is left behind. I will keep coming back to help us." So let's remember to live in that light together, joining hands and loving God and just offering all that we are. And thank you all for coming today, and bless us all in this realization. So we'll have a moment.